Guys, Tarke here, and I'm going to do my usual pros and cons of Betrayal League. Before I get into this, I just want to say I'm incredibly excited for this league, and if part of this video is negative, the cons part, just because I do it with everything, it's not an intentional thing of trying to shit on it. I think this looks really cool. But let's get into the pros and the cons that I've come up with. So, pros. Number one, Bestiary will be in this. That's huge. Doesn't need explaining. Bestiary is amazing. This gives some serious lore injections to Path of Exile. Path of Exile has some very cool lore, but it's very hidden away, and because of that, a lot of people don't really get into it. Having more things like this pushing people into it, perfect. I also really like the entire theme. The entire thought process behind the league, really, really good. So, 10 out of 10 there. This has some incredible crafting options. This will also come back as a con later on, but this is definitely going to be seen. Like, people are going to use the new crafting mechanics. 100%. Now, there's this evil gang of exiles called the Syndicate, and there's the Syndicate board. There's 4 divisions with 4 goals. You've got fortification, transportation, intervention, and research. Quick nitpick. Innovation, investigation, information, and revelation all would have been much better, because if you use one of those, you've had 4 shuns and their divisions, and it's coming out on PlayStation. Like, it should have been one of these 4 words. I'm sure you could easily fix this and re-record all of the dialogue. It won't cost you that much money. It's completely fine, but please change it. But basically, there's lots of depth within this one league. So with one league, we're getting these 4, like, mini, almost like mini leagues. They all come with their own mini games. So there's a lot packed into one, and it very much reminds me of like a theme park MMO kind of feel. There's a lot packed into one mechanic, and then you also have the Bestiary, Incursion, and Delve coming in as well. So we have a lot coming in here. Now, because of all of the diversity within the league itself, and then the other leagues, the actual like content options is insane. More than we've ever had. We're having multiple things added into the end game. This is incredible to have that level of content diversity. Huge. Now, because Incursion, Delve, and Bestiary have also been like pretty much built into the foundation, another shun word, of this league, all of the great things about those leagues just are inherently like absorbed into this one. So this league just automatically inherits the victories of the past. It's just really good design like that. So even if you're not into this league itself, if you enjoyed the past ones, you're going to enjoy that aspect of it. 10 out of 10 there. Now, this also has an incredibly modular design, meaning it has lots of potential to be added to, both throughout the league itself and later on. So you could add in more, like, banditos into this, like, board here. You could add in more leagues in the future with a mask character and incorporate it in. That being said, just because there is modular design space doesn't mean it will be capitalized on. We saw this with Incursion. One of the biggest pros to me when Incursion was announced was the fact that it would be so easy to add to Incursion. But in all of Incursion League, they only added 2 rooms, and those rooms nerfed Incursion because they were weaker than what was previously there. So there is huge potential with the modular design, but they could potentially just make this worse or not change it at all later down the line. Another really good thing about this is it gives people who skipped past leagues a chance to experience them now and in their improved state, especially with Bestiary and the removal of nets. Amazing. New endgame progression, not just the same old running maps over and over again, because the way you unlock the crafting recipes is through actually engaging with the content. So you run all the alpha stuff, you unlock recipes. That way, the more you craft with those recipes, the stronger they become. So it adds this whole extra layer of, you know, do I want to go and kill bosses? Do I want to go and map? Do I actually want to go and chase down crafting recipes? Do I want to upgrade my crafting recipes? There's lots packed into that. No more old shitty master missions. Master missions were always one of the worst things about doing fresh starts. We're currently doing a private league right now, and it's like, oh no, I'm having to do Elreal missions. No longer having to do those missions is amazing. Now, as I said, where you're being rewarded, like you're running, you know, Einhar stuff, so you're getting crafting recipes for that. If I'm someone who really enjoys Bestiary and I'm only doing Bestiary content, not only am I doing content I enjoy, but I'm being rewarded by getting the crafting recipes that I want and them constantly upgraded. That feels great. Not only are you enjoying the content, you're being rewarded for enjoying the content. Player agency. This entire league is all about choice. You choose what you're doing, you choose how you engage with the guys themselves. So much choice in there. Amazing. We're getting a complete reshuffling of the Atlas. So even if you're not interested in League whatsoever, you have that to look forward to. Atlas Reshuffle's always incredibly interesting, especially for content creators. You know, people like Carl, people like EE, they just made a really good guide, which is now completely redundant. They can look forward to doing that all over again. Hideout stuff. So we've been wanting Hideout Improvements for a long time. I've always been a huge fan of hideouts. So having new tile sets, having hideouts which are cross-league, awesome as all hell. Really, really cool. Cannot wait to get into some of the new hideout stuff. I'm really excited. Especially since the way that you unlock some of the new hideout tile sets is like doing things in the world. So for example, maybe running Shape will get us the Shaper tile set. So you'll have people who previously may not have had the goal to kill a certain boss who now want to unlock this tile set. Really good way to like pull people into content they maybe weren't familiar with to get rewarded. So if you like hideout stuff, you now have an incentive to do more content. Also, you can like, if I design a really cool hideout, I could give it to my viewers. So people might actually start selling that kind of stuff maybe. I don't know, very cool, very interesting. The new items we've seen all look very powerful. I can just briefly show them to you here. So it is this one, sorry. So yeah, we see a very strong bow here. It has a whole bunch of just flat physical against bleeding enemies. Loads of bleed-based stuff in there. We're probably not going to see a buff to bleed itself. They probably just made a really strong bleed bow to kind of like bypass it. And it has that shimmery text, meaning it can have a crafted thing on top there. So this is like ridiculous as is without it, and then with that, even better. There's this really awesome ring, +5 level to stock with aura gems. Can be equipped to level 45. People using this for RF or like crazy purity of fires. People use this on Ellie attack builds for like crazy wrath or anger levels. It has all attributes. It's generic. It has like 185-ish flat life regen with no corrupted items. You can get a bunch of reduced mana cost with corrupted items, and it's missing like a silly overpowered mod. Really cool ring, can be used in loads of different builds. 10 out of 10. And then there's like some new loot being added to Shaper. Maybe we're seeing basically an in presence, but for Shaper, which gives you a free temp chains with generic damage, generic stats, generic life, generic mana regen. Can be used in so many mind over matter builds who have always wanted to fit a blasphemy temp chains, but you know, don't really know what to do with it. So 10 out of 10 there. Now the new skills, they all look really cool, but a lot of them kind of have like annoying cons built into them. So for example, there are these new banners. Basically, banners work in a similar kind of way to like Val skills or whatever. You press the button once, you equip a banner on your back. When the banner's on your back, it debuffs nearby enemies, buffs nearby allies. There are two different ones. One gets more powerful for enemies you kill. Another gets more powerful for enemies you impale, which is a new mechanic I'll talk about later. So you get this increasingly powerful buff, and then you press the button again, you throw it on the floor, and it gets like the super version. So, start of map, you press it, you carry it around, you kill everything. End of the map, you press it, kill the boss. Boom. Super awesome, can be used in like any build, but keybinds. Keybinds are an increasing issue in Path of Exile. With all the Val skill reworks, every build runs Val skills, losing keybinds. With all the instant new skills, phase run, whatever, losing keybinds. This is amazing, but so many builds are just like, we need more keys. Really cool. If we have new keys, 10 out of 10. Brands. Brands look kind of like an elemental ED / like impulsor autobomber wet dream. You drop a brand on the floor. If a monster walks near to it, it kills that and then it jumps within the pack. Some people said these look really slow. I could see potential where you can just like run through the middle of the map, you cast once, kill an entire pack, and that doesn't sound that like impressive, but if you could cast like one brand to kill like an entire breach with it just jumping from place to place, really, really cool. Could be awesome. Could just be like a nice spin on the ED kind of place of like dropping contagion, watching it jump around. I think it's sick. Impale. So as I said, there's this new Impale mechanic. It's kind of like an ailment. There are two new skills which work with Impale. They both look basically the same. And I think they probably designed one skill. It was too complicated and they like shuffled it into two. So it's this like shattering steel thing. It kind of, it looks terrible. I'm just going to get it out of the way. But basically it's like a burst. It kind of looks a bit like EK. And then it hits mobs and it leaves like a ailment on them or a debuff called Impale. Meaning if they're hit again, they take bonus physical damage when hit. I could maybe see a really cool, like, new support build coming out where you have, like, a Impale curse on hit champion. So it's like a melee support champion, and you run around doing, like, you know, 6-link curse on hit. And not only are you cursing them, but you're also, like, spamming these debuffs, which when they hit will then explode. So you can basically, like, you can mark enemies for your group. It could just be a good, like, normal solo skill, but it also has potential in support setups or for, like, on summoners. I know, I think it could be really, really interesting. I just wish it had a better animation. We also have Winter Orb. Winter Orb is showed off in Ziggy's video if you want to see it in action. It reminds me a lot of, like, a cold blade vortex. Basically, you channel, and then you get this big orb above your head, which pew-pews at nearby enemies. The longer you channel, the more powerful it is. It lasts for a duration, and the longer it's above your head, the weaker it becomes. The reason why I say it's like a cold BV, basically you charge it just enough, run for 5 screens, then recharge. And then for bossing, you just like hold down right-click. Then if you need to reposition, you can just let go, reposition, and you're still dealing damage, which is very cool. I think this will definitely see use. Hopefully it's not really undervalued in terms of like damage or just being too awkward. It could even be maybe cool as like a utility like curse on hit setup. But yeah, it kind of seems like a semi-scuffed kind of like Blade Vortex. So all the new skills, some issues with all of them, but to be honest, it's pretty good. Usually when they release new skills, I'm very iffy. The fact I feel so positive is a really good sign. So to kind of get into the cons here. So, insane crafting options. They'll definitely see use. I think they're absolutely ridiculous, and it's like power creep to the insane. I said the same thing when Shaper and Elder items came out and stat sticks. I said this is like ridiculous, it's too much power. You could just see it one of two ways. Some people don't mind power creep. I generally tend to be very anti-power creep, so this is more of an issue to me than most players. But yeah, basically from Ziggy's video, all of the items we see, like here, for example, this shield has +1 number of summoned totems. Once you've unlocked this mod, you can then craft it in the future. And as you see here, it's got like bars. The more you craft it, the stronger it becomes, which is really cool. And it goes into what I was saying earlier about like if you really enjoy one particular activity, you get rewarded for doing it over and over and over again. But you can now craft +1 totems on any shield once you've unlocked it, or +1 curse on any rare chest once you've unlocked it. That's ridiculous. Like, that is, like, crazy power creep. So, yeah. Shaper Elder, but, like, through the roof. Now, the crafting UI itself. The crafting UI does look a lot better than Bestiary, but not that much better than Bestiary. You can kind of see it through here somewhere. If we try and find exactly where it is pinpointed in the thing. So, the veiled item, that looks fine. It's just like 1 of 3. Doesn't look too bad. But it's just a long list of scrolling. The more you unlock it, the worse that could feel. And GGG doesn't have a very good track record with UIs. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. Also, we'll be able to craft Flask again, which is very nice. That's something I really missed about Bestiary. But yeah, the UI definitely could be a lot better. It does have a search bar, though, and hopefully we can, like, close prefixes and suffixes. It's a lot better, but it could still be better, you know? So, that's whatever. It's not the best, not the worst. Now, I'm slightly worried about how grouping will work. Grouping has been pretty scuffed in leagues for a while now. I've been doing a lot of grouping content with private leagues. I'm planning on doing grouping private league content at the launch of 3.5, so this is very relevant to me as a player. So, this is a very overwhelming new system, in the fact that there is this massive, you know, syndicate with 4 divisions, all these different named people that you've got to fight. And as we saw on this sheet here, you want to kill, execute, betray, interrogate certain members to manipulate their place on the sheet. So, you know, you can, you know, as you see here, bargain, they swap around or whatever. The way that this will work, I imagine, if you're grouping, is it will be whichever person's syndicate board based on who opens the zone. So while mapping, it won't matter, right? Because it'll just be the map maker's board constantly. Leveling at the start of a new league, brand new mechanic, all of these people, you don't know what anything does, super complicated. let's say I open the first 3 zones just because I got movement speed boots before my leveling partner. Go through it all, it's all my board, yet makes sense. We're like, okay, early on we want to unlock this thing, so we're always interrogating blue hat guy, and we're always trying to screw over hillock guy. But then my friend opens up the 4th zone because he got a 2nd quicksilver and he's faster than me now, and suddenly his board looks completely different to mine, and it's like, wait, hang on, are we still trying to help blue hat guy kill hillock guy? Wait, do I want to now help hillock on your one? And then if you're in a group of like 3, 4, 5 people, you've suddenly introduced like 30 characters, you don't know who anyone is, and it's like, okay, so Tarke wants to help blue hat, and Kane wants to help red hat, but then bitch boy number 37 actually wants to help green trousers, and then it's like, this is really only an issue for start of league stuff. But it's kind of like, you know when you watch a new sitcom at the very start and you just get so overwhelmed? This will be very overwhelming in groups. They could have it as a way that, you know, every single blue hat gives the same buffs, and it's like, oh, blue hat is just these items, and red hat is just these items, and green socks is that guy. But it's just like, infinite at the start could be a bit overwhelming, you know. It will become less of an issue the more we know about it, but like, yikes to start with. So I'm not looking forward to that. Also on that note, it's just a very overwhelming system. I had to watch it like 3, 4 times. I love the amount of depth that is involved in this league. But you know the meme of like, hey streamer, please explain sextant blocking. This is basically that, like, hey streamer, quickly explain intervention versus fortification, and who do I upgrade if I want to craft this bow? You're like, let me just TLDR, watch the carve video, let me sit down for 50 minutes and explain this to you. Go for the blue hat, kill green socks. It's a lot to process. Another argument I saw from a few people in chat, I don't necessarily agree, but I can understand where they're coming from. This is a lot to take in for someone who just wants to zone out and map. I like the direction that Pee-wee's going, where we have all of these things pulling you out, like we saw this with Incursion. Incursion's trying to constantly remind you to go into the temple, delve, hey, you're full of sulfite, go delve now. I kind of like that because I don't like running the same map over and over and over again. But for those guys who want to just sit in Strand, I guess it does feel kind of bad for them that, like, GG's are like, no, bad, you need to think. Stop turning your head off and botting it mindlessly, you will think now. So that really depends on who you are, but yeah. So, major Atlas blow. There is a lot going on, like, a lot going on now. I'm going to try and draw and, like, give an explanation of what, but there is so much going on. All the new master missions are popping up on the Atlas. You've got Elder and Shaper on the Atlas. You've got the 4 different things going on within this league mechanic itself. There is, like, a lot happening. Now, going back to the player agency point I made earlier, GGG has got a bit of a bad history with, like, hey, we've given you all of these options, but one is just, like, way better than everything else, so you're really just being forced into doing this one thing. For example, if we look about Incursion, when Incursion was first announced, we got excited about how many options we'd have. We could upgrade the temple in so many different ways, but it was nearly always upgrade the currency chest, skip everything else, loot this one thing. It would really suck if we had this really complex board, all these different people, green socks, red hats, green hats, but it's actually like, no, you just always do this one thing. Yeah. Also with that, is it going to just be like crazy RNG? The way that we acquire the master recipes is by engaging with the mechanic. Is this a case about like, oh, I enjoy Einhar stuff, so I do all the Einhar stuff, I get the recipes? Or is it a case of like, oh, there's like a 1 in 500 spawn that, you know, if you kill this boss, which you only encounter maybe once per league, and you kill it perfectly, you unlock it, but if you get hit at one point and you never get this boss again, you're never getting that recipe. We've had a long history with challenges, especially being kind of like gated behind pure RNG, and these recipe unlocks could be worryingly similar to how they design Challenge League stuff, so it's a bit like, will this just be Challenges 2.0? You could also see this as a pro, like now you can streamline challenges a lot more, so not only are you like completing a challenge, you're also unlocking a recipe. Could be good, could be bad, definitely something to watch out for. Now, lab players, once again, a mega lol. Nearly every single league, lab players get like nothing to engage with the new mechanic. It looks like you're probably getting nothing to engage with again here. That being said, the intervention division, they will randomly like try and assassinate you. So you could just be like, you know, doing a random map and out of nowhere these guys just pop up and try and kill you. Maybe those guys could pop up in lab. That'd be kind of cool. One thing that I think would be pretty cool is, you know how you unlock and upgrade recipes by engaging with a certain thing? If these guys could spawn in lab, like let's say for example like Einhar can spawn in lab, then that means if you're farming a lot of lab, you're getting a lot of Einhar but maybe not any Zana. So lab players will naturally get some of the Bestiary crafts and upgrades, and it's not like you have to do lab to get it, but at least they're getting something, you know. So I would like it if lab players could get something in there. If not, it really sucks. I know most of us hate lab, but whenever I'm in Trade League, I want there to be someone running lab so I don't have to. So I want them to have a reason to do it. So I want lab to still feel good. Now, the new hideout stuff is awesome. Very, very awesome. But for all the people in Standard with their crazy hideouts they've spent years perfecting, you're going to kind of miss out on quite a lot of it because, like, you've got your crazy perfect hideout, but you can't, like, import it on the new layouts. Probably not. If you can, great, but you probably have to build it completely from scratch. So, perfect. This is really a minor thing. We can have multiple saves and loadouts now, so it's really not that big of a deal. But I'm sure there's one guy who's like, I've spent the last 3 years building the perfect... Oh, no, there's a new... Fuck. Never mind. Also for that poor sod who just finished finally getting his level 8 Leo. And like, I finally... Oh, no. Yeah. No. So, let's get into the Atlas potentially pulling players in too many clashing directions point. This is the bit where I get really distracted and the video goes completely off the rails. So, TLDR, I love the league. There are definitely some things to look out for. Now let's kind of get into it. So, I took just a random screenshot of an Atlas. So here you have like full completion. I think full completion's basically going to be the way that most people go these days. And you can say, okay, he's just killed Elder. So he's got a few Shapers on there. And he wants to spawn an Elder. So, you're trying to farm up maybe some Watcher's Eyes. So you're like, I'm going to run all of these maps here because I'm just trying to get Elder to spawn. I'm running a bunch of reds. Generally, people like to just run reds, right? If you're not going for any particular, you're not running a particular map, like, I'm just going to run the red maps I have. So you're running just the red maps you have. Now, Einhar, Zana, Nico, Alva will randomly spawn on the Atlas, and they'll actually, like, appear on the Atlas. So while you're running these maps, let's say Alva randomly pops up over here. And you're like, fuck, I kind of want to do that Alva mission, but if I do that Alva mission now, it runs a risk that I will go out of my red maps, I'm going to have to go down to a tier of maps I'm no longer interested in, and then all of a sudden, your Elder decides to spawn over here. And you're like, fuck me, my influence is scuffed now. All of those red maps I ran earlier, that was all for nothing, right? So that's one big potential issue I could see. Another thing which could be really interesting, and could be a good or a bad thing, let's say that we left Alva there and never did it. Now, we're going to have, like, the Masters, we do them once a day, and then when you run a certain amount of maps, they then spawn on the thing. Could I start master blocking? So let's say I don't want to do Alva. So I leave Alva here. And I keep running these maps over and over and over again. Then Zana spawns here. But let's say I don't do it and I leave it there. And I keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Then Nico spawns here. This is completely speculation. I don't know if this is how it will work. Does that then mean the only master who can spawn now is Einhar? So then Einhar spawns here. I then kill Einhar. Or assist Einhar, sorry. So that's gone. I keep running 5-10 more maps. And then Einhar pops back here randomly. Does this mean that, in theory, you could potentially, like, master block and force particular masters to spawn? We don't know until we've played with it. If we can, that's awesome. But also potentially kind of problematic. Because you might have a situation where you're like, oh, I really want to do Delve, but I also kind of want to do Einhar, but to be honest, Delve is like so much better in terms of profit and reward. I'm going to have to leave, you know, Einhar, Alva, and Zana blocked out here and only engage with this one thing. So it's this thing of like, will it always only be one? While this is all going on, you've got Shaper Stronghold randomly spawning here, and suddenly you've got all of these different systems all kind of like fighting for your attention. This could be great because it stops people from just running the same map over and over and over again, but it could also be a situation where you never quite get into the right flow. During Incursion League, you know, it'd be quite often people would like roll a bunch of maps, they get really into their mapping, it's like, fuck, I need to run a temple now. Oh god, I now need to go do this. This could be either incredibly smooth if it's sort of gamed on GGG's end. Like, if they were like very techie with it and they built kind of like a perfect formula and stuff spawns in just the right sequence, it could be great. But being overwhelmed with options, while nice, isn't always a good thing. So what I mean by it being like, you know, potentially gamed by GGG to be like a really nice system is, let's say that I'm, you know, just did my Elder. You know, I'm farming Elder, so I've ended up in this situation, and the game knows, okay, this guy's just killed Elder. So what is he going to want to do? He's going to farm a bunch of red maps to try and get, you know, Elders to spawn. Maybe at this point, this would be the perfect time to be like, oh, we now have, you know, a Shaper Stronghold over here. We've got one Master over here. We've got another Master over here. And we have another Master over here. In that case, I could do all the cool side content, and it's not going to screw, like, my influence up and then go back to doing whatever. You could kind of have it where, like, if it happened in just the right sequence, you get stuck into the hamster wheel. You know how, you know, during Incursion, you go like, oh, I'll just do one more map, and that one more map happened to lead to one more temple, which then happened to lead to a Nico, which led to, like, 4 more delves, which then happened to lead to a Zana, which happened to lead to an Einhar, and, oh, shit, we're running all of these maps. Elder has just spawned on the map, and, well, I guess I'm going to go do the spawn now, and then I've killed it, and, oh, God, Nico's back up again. You could potentially be in a situation where you build such a nice formula, you're always on the wheel. But this could run the risk of you never feel like you're in a coherent flow, you're constantly shuffled everywhere, and, you know, you haven't slept for 5 days. It could be perfect. It could be so perfect. It could also be so scuffed. One thing I would really like to see is if I'm only running red maps, then Masters will only also spawn on red maps. Nothing will feel worse than running tier 16s and then you have to go do a tier 1 to get your Einhar or your Nico, which then means that they're in a tier 1 map, so the rewards are then also trash. So much potential. I'm really interested in this league, super interested in this league. Don't want to be negative, but whenever Atlas is involved, it's really confusing because Atlas is so goddamn complicated, and every time they do something cool with Atlas, someone comes up with sextant blocking. So basically, I'm waiting to see if Carve can break this, but I'm incredibly excited for the new league. I think it's absolutely awesome, and I'm really, really looking forward to some Betrayal. Since people always want to know my thoughts on the supporter pack, just as we finish up here. Little disappointed by the supporter packs today. Once again, yet another blue and purple. We've had so many blue sets, so many purple sets. I really wanted some cool green stuff because, you know, we had all this green stuff at the start here. And there isn't actually that much green MTX and PoE. They're nearly always the wrong kind of shade of green. I realise this will probably be tied into either challenge rewards or loot box rewards. But it's a bit boring getting another purple, another blue set. Out of the two, I much prefer this Spooky Boy, Chandelier, kind of Gen 5 Pokemon kind of feel to it. 10 out of 10. This one, I kind of get a weird Sailor Moon meets, like, StarCraft vibe from it. The reason why I kind of say Sailor Moon, the outfit itself, ignore the ethereal. Imagine, like, a character from Sailor Moon, then, like, StarCraft, then, like, ethereals, and you're like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I prefer this one, not buying this one. Might buy this one, really like the back attachment, but yes, I'm Tarke, and that is Betrayal League. And I absolutely adore Einhar. Have a good day. Bye-bye.